Trumbull Neighborhood Partnership was launched almost exactly 10 years ago. To the best of my knowledge, the first community development organization in Warren, serving Warren and surrounding communities. We have a fairly basic mission, quality of life, but we knew coming in, being a strategic partner with Youngstown Neighborhood Development Corporation and also then Mahoning Valley Organizing Collaborative, that our focus was going to be primarily on housing and also on food access. So when we started in late 2010, we had 1,500 vacant houses after the foreclosure crisis, and probably half of those had been empty for a decade before that. This town is 39,000 people, so maybe the number 1,500 doesn't jump out for some larger cities, but it's an enormous ratio of our housing stock. So we knew going in that we had our work cut out for us. I'll say three things really went into Trumbull and Mahoning County both being third and fourth in the state in creating land banks, which is a really big deal. Timing is everything, of course, but Sam Lamacusa's buy-in here in Trumbull County, combined with the community organizing push to create the land bank, just sort of converged at the right time. So I think we were third, we might have been fourth. Either way, we had one of the first land banks, and because of the HUD Community Challenge Grant, we had a lot of the roadmap laid out. So we kind of like to say we were just friends with the land bank the first couple of years. We did help inform a lot of the early policies, but in much to his credit, Sam Lamacusa and his office really got things rolling. Fast forward to 2013, we're about ready to release these plans and start to try and leverage the plans towards money that we can see on the horizon that's coming for demolition. And I think the Attorney General at that time, DeWine, said that these land banks cannot be run out of government offices. Sam may disagree. I think it was time to switch it anyways because they were basically doing double duty over there, trying to, be the treasurer's office and also run the land bank. So we turned the friendship into a contract, and TMP, which remains a community development organization, and keeping that organizing and resident-driven approach, we now manage the county land bank.
When we created the land bank, it was kind of me and Michael from my office, and we were doing everything. We were filing the foreclosures, we were evaluating the properties, we were trying to get them sold to people to fix them up. Or all along we had been working with a very great program, Trumbull Neighborhood Partnerships, and it wasn't a hard decision at all. I mean, I brought Trumbull Neighborhood Partnerships into our land bank program. I didn't bring Trumbull Neighborhood Partnerships. I brought a group of caring individuals that want to do nothing but make their community better.
So Sean, tell us about this. It's a commercial project. You're doing some of these now. What about this one?
Yeah, so this is the first commercial project that we're doing internally. We're renovating the property, and we're gonna hopefully lease the property and eventually get them prepared to purchase it if they're interested in that. So we did the mural in 2015. Prior to our ownership of the property, we worked with the prior property owner, and then we acquired the property about 2 years ago. We had it listed for a long time. There wasn't a lot of interest because it did need a lot of work. We've been slowly kind of piecemealing the work together inside. So we have a new roof on it. Electrical and plumbing are roughed in. Everything's secured at this point. The property's stabilized, and now we're moving into the next phase of actually finishing the interior of it.
So we're on a small basketball court. If I'm not mistaken, this used to be a home at one time that you tore down with neighborhood improvement program money, and they allowed you $5,000 worth of improvements post-demolition. Here we are.
Yeah, this was a really rough house, obviously on a corner lot, so the neighbors were very interested in getting the house down. So we tore the house down. Afterwards, obviously with the NIP money, they allowed $5,000 in greening, so we went to the neighbors and asked what they were interested in. And one of the predominant things that we heard was a basketball court. So this neighborhood has a lot of children. What was happening was they were setting basketball hoops up in the streets. The parents were concerned about their safety. Obviously, traffic was an issue. So we got them all together and decided to install this basketball court here. Right next door, we tore another house down and we did a little garden and fruit trees, but this basketball hoop has been one of our more successful greening projects. After the success of this one, we ended up installing about 3 more throughout the city. Specifically from our neighborhood plans and neighborhood input, on where basketball courts are needed and where youth are congregating to do that. So again, this is one of the most successful projects we've had, and we've tried, 24 different
Not vandalized.
and reuse
Not
projects.
vandalized.
No, it's not vandalized. And
And I see a nice net. Did you put that up?
No, at this point, the neighbors have taken control of this. It's still in the land bank's inventory. We still carry insurance on the property to make sure that no one else has to deal with that burden. But for the most part, the neighborhood manages this property. They keep it mowed. If the net is needing put up, they do that. This one obviously looks new. I haven't seen it until today, but they fully take care of this property, and they do a fantastic job doing it. So it's been great for the community.
So you've put many gardens into Warren, Ohio, the land bank. You want to tell us about this one?
Yeah, so this was another one that was post-NIP greening project. We invested about $5,000 into it to get it started. And there's some raised beds in the back. They have a greenhouse, a pavilion for picnic space. And then they use this big green space behind us for youth theater. So they teach kids youth, and they put little shows on here while the parents are in the pavilion.
Oh, no
So
kidding.
this is a nice youth-focused garden, but not only youth. So our first $5,000 got the whole project started. Then they got some grant money from some private funders. So this one, the leaders really took this garden on as their own, and they were able to get that. About 2 years after it was started, because of the programming they were doing, they won a statewide volunteer award, and that got them another $1,000 to invest in the property. So this one's been a very successful and long-going project. The neighbors have all been invested in it. They've helped out. Many of them come over to help mow or maintain the property. They use the raised beds in the back. So this one is really a model for a lot of our community gardens.
Greenhouse, somebody maintains that too?
Yeah, they use the greenhouse every year. It's good to have that resident-driven neighborhood buy-in, because we don't see most of our gardens, we don't see vandalism in the same way we do in like the ones where the neighbors aren't that interested in us being there. So with that neighborhood buy-in comes a lot of protection for the garden, because they're always watching. Like if there's a piece of trash out here, I might get a call from one of the neighbors letting me know.
Yeah.
They've really bought into this one. There's a greenhouse in the back that likely could have been vandalized pretty easily, and we've not seen any of that. So this is a really great project.